looks like
big shill. Shout out to Proxaton Gaming on their Etsy. You can actually get the Verena playmat that you see most of our players using today.
There you go. There's some good shilling. There's some good shilling. All right, it looks like we have Drive Check Cole on the left here, and on the right we have Sean of Winning Image.
So the
Yay, it's back.
How
Hi, everyone. Hi, hi.
Is going to go? I don't know exactly what these two are playing.
I have no idea what these two are.
Especially if
I have literally no clue.
Two winners round one, they must be doing something right.
Yeah, I mean, we're in round two, and neither of these players have dropped a game. They're currently X0. Personally, if I were them, I'd just walk away from the tournament now and say, yeah, I went X0 at the last Cardfight Con.
Exactly.
Nobody
just
can touch me.
Champion. Retire champion.
Yeah, just retire champion. If it needs to keep playing. Makes complete sense to me. All right, we're seeing the players. Yo, going first, going second. Oh, that's really cute. That's a really cute way of deciding it. I like that. Will that get us banned?
Okay. It's Zorga.
Yeah, Zorga versus either Zorga or Mag.
I think this is the Magnolia deck.
It might be. We do have one Magnolia deck in the tournament. Let's see if we're going to see a Zorga mirror, or if we're going to see a Stoicheia showdown.
Okay, ditching order for ride.
Okay, so we know Cole is definitely on Zorga because we see the GDR.
So that must indicate that you have another order in your hand to discard. Oh, double GDR.
Oh my gosh. All right. Fair enough. You can get one of those back later and keep one in drops for some Alchemy Magic plays. Unfortunately, the ride chain is not going to tell us too much unless we see the Magnolia chain, because even if we see the Zorga one here, it could... actually it is Magnolia. So it is Magnolia with the Magnolia chain. That's interesting. I see a lot of people going with the Zorga ride chain in Magnolia. What are your thoughts on that?
In some cases, I don't particularly agree. Sure, you have the access to plus more to your hand.
Defensive crit.
But at the same time, if you don't open up an order or draw into one by the time you go through that ride chain, you kind of just go semi-neg in a sense. And you'd rather, in my opinion, for Magnolia, an aggressive deck, you'd rather have bodies on board.
That does make sense. All right, we're actually playing main desk Husk as well, which is interesting. You don't see too many people playing that. Usually it's just like the one uncopy in your ride deck and you res it off condensation. Oh, and we see Hendrina come down early. We're gonna be able to set down his drop zone.
Making Soul Blast costs free is something that is really good for Zorga.
It's so insane. Hendrina is probably the best Zorga card. Oh my god, a heal!
The sack, we're seeing yellow.
Oh my goodness, we're seeing yellow. Cole is just going off. We see the defensive shutting down the opponent's turn, and we see the heal.
Dropping the Huggy Bear from hand.
Ooh, that's a really important card. All right. Ooh, we see a Dugard off the top. That's really good to grab. Give a nice little bit of setup so we can go for the early game aggression that Magnolia is known for.
Eventual 15k body. Oh, he's going to bring back the Huggy Bear.
Could bring back the Huggy Bear or the Lettuce.
Oh, no, he's going to bring back Mantis.
Or the Charis. The Churro. Ooh, brings back All right,
Mantis.
That'll be some very nice early game aggression.
Probably giving 10k to its own column, because the Maiden gives 5k to the thing it called, and then the Mantis gives 5k to something else. Although I think he spread the 5k power to the Duger, which is probably the better option.
We do need 2 more rear guards to make this Duger live. There's one. Probably the Churro here, right? Yes, I will call them Churro and Lettuce. You can't stop me.
I mean, you see me calling Gunswola Huggy Bear, so...
Gunswola Huggy Bear. True enough. It looks like we're not going to get that last rear guard, so Duger is not going to be live, unfortunately.
But the columns are still pretty big. These are some you have to deal with.
Columns.
In my opinion, you probably take first hit.
Oh my goodness, intercepting with Hendrina?
And he got the heal.
Interesting.
The turns have tabled.
Interesting. Using up Hendrina that early and just maybe they have another one in hand, so they're not too worried about keeping one in play.
See, I guess the thought process is if you're gonna guard and you guard one to pass, no matter what, you'd probably just use the card on field because you can just res it.
Hmm. Yeah, plus it gives your opponent one less option because they can't target the Hendrina for attacks if they want to now.
Although in Magnolia's case, you normally just want to aim face anyway.
True. But taking away your opponent's options is always a nice thing to do.
Exactly.
All right, we see the Zorga coming down here. And
Probably
we
going
have
to use
a
the P to res.
we know we have a GDR in hand and in drop zone and no other orders, I think. So Alchemagic's going to be a little hard to get off unless there's another order in hand.
Which we don't know if he's seen another one, as from drive checks, we have not seen another order. The real question is he going to choose to res the Hendrina with the Zorga counterblast skill? So maybe try and heal for another order?
Oh, just has another one in
just has another
hand.
one.
Just like
Oh,
I was
there's
saying.
the order.
Oh, and an agony. Oh my goodness. All right, so now we can pop off with GDR plus agony if we want.
So you probably sack the Hendrina.
Oh, condensation plus. We didn't sack Hendrina. Sir? Sir. Oh, wait, actually not going for agony, going for the Okay.
Well, luckily, how Alchemagic works, you
Yeah,
just
the first
add
one is the one
text
from
to the
hand.
bottom, so you're still going to be resing something first and then distributing the 10k power.
Yeah, luckily, since the condensation was the one in hand, if the condensation was the one in drop, there would only be 2 targets for the 10k power there. Because you have to do that 1 second. Yep, and then just 10k to the front row.
4 in hand.
Ooh, for Zorga, this is looking a little resource light, if I'm honest.
Yeah, see, right now they're not really struggling on any front. Counterblast is pretty open right now. Soul doesn't seem like a problem because you can just keep resing Hendrinas.
All right. We've got Zorga swinging in. These are decent numbers.
Ooh,
front trigger is going to make them even better numbers.
Although I guess if you are playing fronts, you should probably be swinging Vanguard first instead of the Hendrina.
I think you generally swing Vanguard first anyway, even if you're not playing fronts. I think it's still worthwhile.
Just getting the possibility for drive triggers to make your other 2 attacks bigger always seems worth it. And now we get to see a push for Magnolia. We do not know if they have Persona Ride just yet, but at the moment,
crit off the top.
It could be better.
There's kind of the issue with the Magnolia ride change versus the Zorga one. That crit could be in hand right now instead of on field.
Although you could also argue,
if you draw a card, whereas if you draw the card, if you draw a card you want on field, you can just throw it to field.
True. Although you could also just argue that you could, because I know Magnolia does play Ghost Chase itself, so you could just Ghost Chase the trigger back to your hand.
True. All right, we see Magnolia coming in.
Are we not for 1 to pass?
What?
Oh no, no, 2 to pass. 2 to pass.
And the Magnolia skill coming down on the churro here. Gonna let that swing from the back row for a pretty decent number.
It'll be an 18k beater, I'm pretty sure.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all.
Yep, that's still 2 cards from hand or both intercepts.
Yeah, unfortunately, this Mantis isn't very big, and the column with the crit it trigger isn't that big either. Not an amazing push turn for a deck that really wants to aggro down right now. Zorga's still being still holding at 2 damage pretty safely.
Probably getting ready for a possibility of a Persona Ride next turn, because having access to 6 swings definitely is something you want to be able to check defensives for.
All right, here's pretty much the last attack that's going to hit this turn.
Yeah, we're just going to be ending the onslaught. I guess they're checking drop for triggers?
Possibly. There's a crit. There's 3 crits. I think 4 crits.
4 crits, a front, Oh, I think they're looking for their alchemagic target.
Yes. Oh, are we just passing there?
Oh, really? Interesting. If you're just
It's
passing,
interesting. You don't give your opponent access to GDR because they need to res something with Zorga skill.
although at the same time, you're really just giving your opponent a free check for defensives. Oh no, no. Okay, so
Okay, okay. We are in fact going in. Do we have the persona? We do. Placing it under there so you can keep the nice SP Zorga on top. You'd love to see it.
silence. Oh, are we dead? Are we deaf again? No
No.
audio. Oh my god.
No. No.
No.
How could this happen to me? Oh, Maid can hear just fine. All right,
Oh,
thanks,
okay,
Maid.
okay, okay.
Okay, okay. We're fine. We're fine. All right. So presumably you're gonna see like probably Agony plus something. We haven't seen an Agony so far this game. And Zorga could really use a board right now, especially with a Persona Ride in play, being able to make a lot of offensive pressure. We see no GDRs in drop.
Because he did use the GDR last turn.
We do know we have a GDR in hand.
So,
So
you probably just want
possibly
to call
combining.
with GDR with Ghost Chase. Just call something on board.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you probably want to use Zorga skill first so that GDR can hit 3 targets. Because if you
Oh yeah,
GDR
yeah.
with
I have to remember
condensation, you only have
there
2.
is an extra open counterblast. Well, that's why I was saying you call down something from hand first, and then
Yeah, I see.
condensation, and then GDR condensation. This way, you still have 3 targets.
Just getting the other husk. That's fair. We've actually not seen a Hendrina be sacrificed in any of the Zorga games so far. I find that really interesting.
Yeah, I know. Normally, you want to get rid of that Soul Blast cost because it just adds so much value to what you're doing.
Yeah, but so far we haven't seen the Zorga players struggling with Soul much at all.
Yeah, I know. Surprisingly, Soul hasn't really seemed to be a big issue.
All right, and we're just seeing the Ranker chain come down. A nice little 10k booster right there. Not too bad.
And then, of course, the free front trigger.
All right. These are pretty decent columns. These are pretty decent columns.
Although winning image is only at 1 damage, so there is possibility just take some hits. Another front trigger.
Front? Oh my goodness. Yeah, these columns are
hits.
massive, but they're not super threatening is the thing. Like you were saying, winning image can kind of just take some of these hits and really not worry about it.
And then we also see the Ghost Chase off drive check. There's nothing really on board that would proc a Ghost Chase activation, but it's always something that you can keep in the back of your head.
Absolute worst case scenario, if you really need it to survive, you can bounce like the Ranker chain or the Husk back and basically use the Ghost Chase as a 10k shield. It's not amazing. You don't want to do it, but it's an option that's available to you.
It's always something that you have to consider.
When a PG comes down for that last attack. Yeah,
Only
winning image
to go to 3.
Winning image just not caring, just like casually getting through that turn. Oh my goodness, and we have Bear.
We don't see Persona Ride though, which kind of sucks.
That's true, but we do have as you say, Huggy Bear.
You do have the Huggy Bear. He just wants to give you high speed hugs.
He just wants to give you high speed hugs.
Yeah, he's Bracky 2.0.
Ooh, and nothing off those drive checks. That's really problematic. We needed some triggers right now. Do you even activate Huggy Bear now? I think you just might swing with it raw.
Yeah, maybe
like,
wasting
it's not gonna gain much.
Doesn't seem like an option.
Normally you use.
Oh, and we are.
Oh yeah, going for it. That's fair. Make that column a little bigger.
Yeah, I think it's an extra 13k power.
It's equivalent to whatever Huggy Bear is at, so 15 currently.
Okay, yeah, 15.
I'm never gonna call it anything but Huggy Bear from now on, by the way.
You see, there is the Ghost Chase.
Our Ghost Chasing, bouncing back the Ranker chain.
Going to 5 in hand.
Yeah, and immediately, are we immediately using the Ranker chain as a to make a 10k shield like I was saying before? Oh no, we're just. Oh, that was enough. Yeah, I can count. Probably
Math, right?
take this one.
We're good at
Yep,
math.
going to 4. I'd be a little worried if I was Cole here. You really need to mount some offensive pressure here. And
Only 5
Zorga's
in
not.
hand and minimal recursive options with only 1 counterblast active.
Yeah, Zorga's not really known for being able to push a ton of damage in one turn. It's more of a grind your opponent down kind of deck,
Mhm.
which just means Magnolia has all the time in the world it needs to get
To
its
find
board
that
set up,
persona
find
ride
its
and try
persona
and find
ride,
it.
and just pop off.
And see how earlier we saw Zorga not struggling so much with resources. Now here we see it trying to close in on itself. Counterblast is like heavily restricted.
Yeah, the soul is also pretty heavily restricted. Not using the Hendrinas earlier is kind of limited
Biting
how
it.
many options are available in terms of
Mhm.
Soul Blast. If we can get a maybe we might have to use that last counterblast just to get
To
a
get
Hendrina out,
Hendrina.
just so we can make some plays.
Or we just
Oh,
see
or
one
have one in
laid out.
hand. Be a
That works.
god gamer and just have one in hand. Never mind, we're good. I
So you
forgot that
probably
Cole is good at
stack
this game.
probably stack Hendrina.
Okay,
Oh, okay, just going straight
not
for
sacking
GDR.
Hendrina. Just raw GDR instead of like
Whoa, no
GDR plus
Alchemagic.
agony.
Yeah, I thought we would have seen GDR plus
Oh,
Agony.
yeah, I don't know how I feel about that one if I'm honest.
Because you really need to start pushing. The hand size for
Mhm.
Magnolia doesn't seem too big. Well, it might be around 6, 7 cards, but you also know that we haven't been seeing triggers, so the shield value just might not be there.
Ooh, a crit. All right, that's good.
That helps.
Yeah, it's 6, 7 cards is a pretty good hand for Magnolia. Usually it's a very hand to board kind of deck.
And then
So,
I think we see a trigger.
ooh, a draw trigger. That's very nice defensively.
Although these numbers are pretty massive, so I don't know how
They're
that trigger
not
really stacks
bad.
up.
I think this is like 30k.
hmm That's
So
still like
it's
two
a
cards to
10k.
guard.
It's a 10k guard, which yeah, it's
Yeah,
overdress. So 2
minimum,
cards
unless you drop a trigger. Yep, there's the
unless
trigger.
you drop a trigger. And then this is 25. That's a 5k guard. Not bad at all. Should easily be able to safely guard this. Maybe a ghost chase, bounce the trigger back to hand would be really nice here.
That would be optimal. Although I think he's only at 4, so we could just take it, but opting not to.
No, he's at 5.
Oh, he's at 5. See,
Oh
some of the
yeah,
damage is cut off for me. I can't see that.
it's all right. Yeah, he's at 5. You cannot take damage here.
hmm
I mean, if you want to bet on a heal, I mean, go for it.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
and
just
we
flex
see
on
the
your opponent.
Duger come down. This
Ooh,
is. We didn't see a
still
persona
no
ride.
persona ride though.
It's powerful, but is it powerful enough? We need to see a trigger to make this Huggy Bear big. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, that's it. We
only
need to see a
12
trigger to make this Huggy Bear big. That's
Mhm.
about it.
Oh,
Oh, a draw
oh, draw
trigger.
trigger.
There you go.
You definitely pass that to the bear.
Oh, absolutely.
So, my thoughts is you give it to bear, and then you pass bear's power over to the mantis because that's your smaller column. Oh,
Oh my god, went in on Vanguard. Oh my god.
ooh.
Holy sh.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, sure. If you just double trigger and win. Yeah, that works too.
See
Never mind.
yellow. See yellow.
Yeah, it's just C yellows. Never mind. Forget. There we go.
Yo, the good
Oh
game
my
is
god, what
on
a way to end the
coming.
game.
Everything is
God,
solid.
I saw him tap the Vanguard, and I was just
Yeah, I
about to
was
be
like,
like,
wait,
"Wait,
you going
what?
all in on
Excuse
Vanguard?
me? Are you really committing to this?" And I get, you know what?
No.
There's a look. As the saying goes, there's a reason they're out here and we're in here. Now let's get them in here.
Mhm. My philosophy, because I normally always do the same thing: risk it for the biscuit, man.
Risk it for the biscuit. I mean, winning image definitely got that biscuit there, and definitely saw his winning image.
And then overtrigger was 3 cards down.
God, insane. These games, dude, this tournament, dude, this tournament has been something else.
Absolutely wacky.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, that must have been tough.
Insane. It's on a yeah, we got it. Uh,
That must have been rough dealing with no Persona Ride for a good 3 turns.
yeah, like you worry a lot when you're Magnolia because you saw early Winning Image going for that early game aggro, just trying to rush down his opponent, but not really seeing the pieces you need, specifically that Persona Ride piece that's so vital to make your turn fours just pop off and be able to kill. Uh, but that's also kind of the big weakness of Zorga. Zorga is a very slow deck that kind of relies on just resources and grinding down the opponent and just slowly getting to that eventual end game where they're forced to a 5 damage and you have these huge numbers that they just can't guard.
Mhm.
And Magnolia eats that up. Magnolia loves that kind of game because they can just take all the time they need to build up their aggression, just swing, swing, swing. Force out the opponent's resources for guarding and just take down everything they want to do.
Exactly. It just gives them a lot of time to try and find their major pieces. We saw even after calling a trigger off the top from the grade 2 ride target, you were still able to play the game like pretty much as fast as the Magnolia player felt like and still push through. The Huggy Bear
Jeez.
at the end definitely was another threat that really had to be worried about. Although definitely putting All Effects Vanguard going for it, I did
It
not see
was
that coming.
risky. Yeah, no, I didn't see that coming either. I definitely expected the safe play of all effects going onto the bear and then the bear giving power to Duger to make that just an insanely good column.
It was either you give it to Duger or you give it to the Mantis because your Mantis is your smaller column.
True. But at that point, I feel like you're just trying to push through as much damage as possible. So just that one more damage as
True.
easy as you can get. All right. Do we have have we
Do we have
contacted
interview?
our dear Winning Image? Oh,
All right.
banger, banger, banger. All right. We're gonna in just a minute, we're gonna see an interview with Winning Image himself
Hopefully
after
we can
seeing
pick
his
his
winning
brain
image, which is
after
apparently just
See
seeing
Yellow.
yellow.
Seeing
Just
Yellow,
see
dude.
yellow. There you go. That's my winning image. Turn cards sideways, hit yellow.
Be
That's
better
all I'm
at the
smart enough
game.
to do in this game.
Turn things sideways. Best way to win.
Turn things sideways. Heck yeah. Turn things
Definitely
sideways
played
and
it
see yellow.
insanely well, though, restricting Zorga's
Oh,
late
for
game
sure.
resources. That was huge.
Oh, for sure. That was incredibly good play by Winning Image there. Magnolia known to be like kind of like a lower tier deck, at least at the moment. When set 2 comes out, that changes a bit. But for right now, Magnolia is really underestimated by a lot of people, but it actually matches up pretty well with the current metagame because the current metagame is very focused on slower decks, like Bastion being like a later game deck, like Bruce being a later game deck. And Magnolia can just kind of like rush as early as turn 2 and just kind of eat them alive sometimes. Of course, if those decks get the chance to pop off against Magnolia, there's really nothing she can do. She cannot handle the resource generation that any of these top tier decks throw out. But if you can stop your opponent before you get to that point, who cares?
Exactly. If you kill them, if you just hit it till it dies, and you win,
Just
you have nothing to
group
worry
up.
about.
Literally, the Magnolia way. Just group up and hit it till it dies.
Exactly. General
That
Corvot said
really
it
is
best. Hit it till it dies.
General Corvot said it best.
So back on your topic of set 2, how do you think set 2 is really going to shift up the metagame as we see it?
Oh, well, Magnolia and Prison. That's how I expect it to change the metagame. I expect both Magnolia and Prison to instantly shoot up to be like, if not tier 1 decks, like very high tier 2. The stuff they gain from that set is stupid. The stuff they gain from set 2 is dumb. The new triple R for Prison is so good, but more importantly, the order that lets you prison from hand.
Uh-oh. Oh no. So yeah, the order that lets you imprison from hand definitely adds some much needed threats. You just have access to extra removal. Yes, yes, you're back. You're alive. I missed you. Yeah, you died. You died. I think you're live on my screen.
What keeps happening? Can you hear me? Can chat hear me?
Yes.
All right, I'm alive.
I have
All right,
no
I'm
idea.
alive.
All right, see, you're good. You're
I'm
good. You're
sorry, everybody. I live.
good.
It's okay. Unfortunately, everybody, I did die, but I lived.
Mhm.
Anyways, yeah, and then of course, Magnolia. God, I forget the name of the card, but I believe it's I believe it's the triple R from the set. It's the one that lets you Soul Blast to let one of your back row units attack as early as
It's the
turn
grade
2.
2. It's the grade 2.
Yeah,
The grade 2
that
that has
card
the
just
Magnolia skill slapped on top of it.
yeah, that card changes the deck. That card just like busts the deck wide open. Suddenly you don't really care about your Persona Ride anymore. Like you still want it, and if you can get it off, that's nice. But like you can just go hard aggro. Like you already were going hard aggro from turn 2. Now you're going hard aggro to the point of getting 4 attacks turn 2. Like oh boy, it's a little nutty. And all your skills are going off, so like your churros are going off. You can use bear turn 2. You can use bear turn 2. That's insane.
It also
So
makes
yeah,
the
I
deck
see.
less reliant on its Persona Ride. And then we have
Dominaru. I see. Hey, we got it. Hello. I think you're muted. Oh no,
Hello.
you're good. Hello. Could we transfer right over to the interview?
Mhm.
So we can get this started. Congratulations on your win, by the way.
And then I guess I'll start
Yeah.
off because
That was some fantastic play right there. Calculated risk. Yeah, I'm sure that that last play was very calculated, and we'll get to that. But before we get into that at all, I have an important question to ask you that I think the people want to know. So we said it earlier, you're the only Magnolia deck at this tournament. So we have to wonder, why did you pick this deck over some of the more well-known contenders like Bastion, Bruce? Even like Borrow Magnus is pretty well represented. Not a lot of people expect the Magnolia though. So where did that idea come from?
I believe in my furries just as much as I believe in myself. That's the best way to put it. What's it called? I was going around with a bunch of different options. I was between Bastion, Magnolia, and Orphist. But you know, shouts to my local community. They honestly hyped this tournament up a little bit more than I did. And they were saying, you know what, John, just you put us all on Magnolia. You gotta reap what you sow and talk the talk, walk the walk.
I mean, you're certainly walking the walk.
And then
you.
so especially for matchups like Zorga, what is your thought process really going through it? Especially since you didn't see Persona Ride at all. How were you interpreting that game state?
So with Zorga, I just know that a lot of their hand is like kind of smokes and mirrors because they have this big hand, but they can't necessarily guard with everything. So that's why you saw me play aggressive early. Like I didn't get full value out of my Mantis, and just poking in for that early damage, causing him to commit, made me play my revive orders early so I could just clear my hand and just focus in on what I have. With the new PGs only taking one card necessarily to block everything, it doesn't matter what I play. I just need to stick to my game plan, stick to my guns, and Magnolia will just close it out. And with no Persona Ride, I knew that at some point I can't just attack his rear guards. And if he has 2 damage at any point, because Cole was guarding early to try and anticipate my Persona Ride turn, the fact that he did that, honestly, I think was part of the risks that I had to take to put it all Vanguard on that final turn. Because if I didn't get it, I would have lost.
Understandable. And I was about to ask, I think you kind of answered it. This is gonna sound a little crass, but that final play, sir, how do you have the balls for that final play? Like, how do you look at that and just be like, yeah, no, the safe play is bear, but that all in and win.
In it to win it.
It was powerful.
So
it was very powerful.
Cole had 4 cards in hand. I know that he could have been able to guard with at least 3, and because he was at 4 damage, he would be able to take 1. And I had 3 more attacks coming. If I didn't hit a crit, he would have been able to survive. And like I said, he probably would have won next turn. And because on my draw trigger check, I didn't draw a trigger, and I didn't see any triggers really all game besides that heal turn 1 and the crit on my first grade 3 ride. So I was like, okay, I think it was 9 triggers left in deck at that point, even with the draw. So I was like, let me take that risk, and if it pays off, I just win comfortably.
Fair enough. I mean, like, I guess, yeah, looking at it like that, it definitely was a calculated risk. Obviously, we couldn't see your entire hand, but like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Just trying to go through the motions, planning out triggers, being able to draw first and then decide where you're putting your power definitely comes into play there.
Yeah, I mean, that's a skill in and of itself. Like, we make fun of like good players hit triggers, but being able to plan out, like thinking, okay, I'm probably gonna hit a trigger here, that's a skill. That is a skill, and it's an important one to have if you're gonna win games. That's pretty much all I got. Focus, do you have anything else for?
No, I have no further questions. Best of luck taking Magnolia through to semis for bracket.
Yeah, best of luck to you. Keep pushing through, doing your best, and we'll see you around.
No worries. Thank you to you all for doing this. It really means a lot to me.
Absolutely.
We're
have a good one.
Our best. Go get them. Go get them.